Hello guys. It is Sunday. It means we're looking into bushes, looking for horseshoes. Farming Simulator 2013. We started season 2 last time. We were playing with mods. We just basically want to mod spotlight a bit and talk a bit. For now, I'm interested in checking out things. We will go back to classical farming as well when we try out more farming gear and preferable modded stuff. Last time we talked about Uli Hoeneß and his tax fraud, and we also talked about the Boston bombings, and I want to say thank you to all of you guys contributing to the discussion. It's awesome. I love to read the comments. Just did that, went through that and saw your opinions, and we had a wide variety of opinions, but most of you guys agreed with the things I said, and it's always cool to get confirmation about your ideas or whatever. So last time it was the infamous ATV. Yay! And a lot of you guys suggested I should try out some of the car mods that are available in the game, and indeed there is one I wanted to check out first. It's not a German car, but there's also a German cars mod and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I thought today we wanna pick up a Bentley. Yes, indeed, because it's kind of fitting with one of the topics I want to talk about today. But first of all, let's spend $250,000, which is actually pretty cheap for a Bentley. Let's take our ATV and ride over to the shop and try to pick up our new car. That was successful, right? So yeah, you guys suggested, or one suggestion was for a topic, the so-called barrel roll. No, Hartz laws in Germany. Hartz, that is like a short form for social welfare money, was introduced in 2005, and yeah, kind of make sure you have some kind of a basic security in your life. It's a very low amount of money, but for 500 euros you will get a month. Aside of that, the government would take care of paying for your flat and for your energy, and for example, even for a TV, because that is considered something that is important for any human being, so you get information. I think also there's ways to help you out with the internet and things like that, and here we are. Oh wow, look at those rims. Yeah. Oh, pretty nice. Though I think there could be a bit more detail to it. But I like it. I kind of like black cars, especially if it's not that shiny blacks, more the, cool black. Okay. Numpad 0. Okay, let's try that out. Aha. It's German, by the way. It looks like a German mod. Sprinter RCD info. Oh, there's a Sprinter too? Oh, is it just modified? Let's see. Oh, we even have a safety belt or what? I don't know if that info is needed for this one. Let's take it for a spin. Ooh. It's actually pretty fast. No, it's not. It's 30 miles per hour. Let's ride out to the lake a bit. Go for a little stroll while we talk about today's topic. Well, yeah, what do I think about it? The main question was, do I think it is okay if you have a system like that? Like if somebody never went through education, if you could call him, this typical stuff, lazy, he doesn't want to do anything. That is the first thing people always say when they say people abusing a social system, like they're not conforming with the system, they're not trying to get education, they're not trying to get work, just saying, okay, I'm gonna chill and take the social welfare money. Well, it is like that. If you look at that Bentley, Germany is a rich country, and many Western countries are. So, we can afford to have a social system like that. That is without a doubt something we can do. And people who are, successful in business or whatever, can we reach the other side of the river here, by the way? Will have enough money. Oh no, we can't. To not worry about it. They don't have to worry about a few bucks they spent tax-wise this month. But when the problem starts is when there's a lot of money to be paid by people who don't earn so much, and they have to compensate for people who don't want to do anything. So normally, if you don't go through education and don't try to get a job, something went wrong. Wow, this is loud. Like if a Bentley sounds like that, I don't want to get one. Let's ride over to the biogas plant and work there a bit. Can make some money. So, if people are really, having a lot of money and don't have to, cannot afford stuff because they have to pay a lot of social welfare money and a lot of taxes for that. Well, yeah, I would say it could definitely get these people mad, but it would not really negatively affect their lives. I mean, they would pay something, alright, but they would definitely not suffer from it. It's a different story with people basically earning less, as I said. For example, my mom. Compared to my dad, my parents had a divorce, so it's some kind of a two-sided story. My dad is a businessman and he's really successful, has his own company, has a lot of cars and a nice house and all these things, and successful businessman. My mom, on the other hand, worked in a job where she has to basically sell furniture, and the more she sells, the better her profit margin is. But at least it's not a job where you can actually get rich. Where is our cultivator? So, problem there for my mom, and for people like that, I have to say, oh, it's over there. It really hurts. It really hurts, if you have to pay such high taxes. If you imagine, let's just throw some numbers out there, you would be earning 2,000 euros if you don't have to pay all these social expenses, for example, Hartz and others, and that will make you 300-400 euros less a month. That's a considerable amount of money, and that almost makes it so that people who actually work a lot but don't work in a well-paid job sector don't have more money than somebody who actually stays at home all the time and doesn't do anything. Look like a horseshoe. So if it is like that, it's kind of weird, what would be the incentive then to actually work if you get the same amount of money without working at all, right? I mean, go for it. That is definitely not correct, right? I mean, that would make no sense. So if the system is like that you can actually make more money without working, or close to the same money without working as you make when you're working, I think it's kind of wrong. The basic idea, this is the potato thing. Okay, the basic idea, of course, is right. Like if you have a society that actually can also help out weaker people who, for what reason ever, don't really work with the whole thing. You can't always say those people are lazy. They maybe had some personal issues in their lives. Drugs, for example, can be a reason, and other things, or other addictions, or I don't know, just came from a poor family, also never really had a chance to get higher education, and yeah, just really didn't make it in the system. So it's okay if you try to support people, but you should always encourage those people to get back into a job, because yeah, what is the best motivation if you have a chance to improve your financial situation and maybe better your life? I think that's a good motivation for people to actually start to work or try to find a job. That's what you typically do. You want to improve your life situation, and thus you find a job. So yeah, the system is good, but when it's like that, where it kind of fails a bit, where somebody works really, really hard, for example, in geriatric healthcare, the job sector I worked before, payment was also horrible. Really, it was a tough job, but compared to others, you were really not making a lot of money. And yeah, you see our decadence here, by the way. We are so filthy rich here as a farmer that we can actually ride our Bentley from tractor to tractor just to park him. you know? This is the other side of the medal then. You have people that are so filthy rich and they made their fortune in a country. Same idea with taxes. And I think if you are really, really rich and don't have to worry about anything and you made your fortune in a country, and of course mostly it's a lot of work you put in, so it's your own achievement as well. So, you should be able to keep a lot of it, and yeah, should be able to profit from it. But if you're really, really rich and have problems like that, driving with your Bentley from A to B, just for the sake of it, you should definitely be charged quite a bit, as you made the money in the country, to help out the weaker. And yeah, of course, as I said, there is abuse in the system. But the typical case, when is Hartz 4, for example, or Hartz 4 or social welfare really helpful? Well, the typical case, I was talking about a divorce. My mom and she never, took Hartz 4. She always worked. But I was lucky because I had my grandma, and that when I was coming home from school, I could go to my grandma, stay with her, and yeah, she would take care of me. All my friends were coming there and all this stuff. And okay, let's plant maize here. And yeah, my mom could go to work, so we were never relying on it. Personally, neither. I never, never, took any money from the state. I always worked for my own. So yeah, but the typical case sometimes is my mom was already working and the job situation back there was not that tense, so it would also have been easy to get a job if she didn't have one. But yeah, you get this divorce and then you need help because you're moving out. Often there's arguments, the male part of the divorce, or the dads sometimes refuse to pay their money they have to pay for the kids and so on, and then you are in a dire situation. You can't even afford a fridge, you have nothing. And for example, that is a good situation, where you need a system like that, and where it totally makes sense, because just think about the follow-up. If you would not help this person, then it will cause some follow-up problems. The kids will probably never get good education, maybe turn into criminals, and things like that. So for society, it makes sense to invest in people that are a bit weaker to prevent them from trying to get something by criminal means. There's also an idea behind the social system, and there's calculations have been done that actually say, if you spend money in help, securing a certain level of happiness for people, it will be cheaper than fighting all the crime that comes from it. So Yeah, in my opinion, Hartz-IV makes sense, but of course is open to abuse. Like I know in Germany, like when there's weird discussions, then people often say everybody's coming to Germany just to abuse our social system and whatnot. Well, yeah, you can't blame people, if you have a secure and rich country that they are trying to come here and improve their situation as well. Um, there is rules, by the way. It's kind of the same thing like in the United States. Okay, while these machines are running, let's quickly run up the hill. If you want to stay in Germany, you have to ask for asylum, and you will get asylum if you are if there's political issues, for example, if there's a war in your country and your life is endangered, or some kind of an extremist party gets hold of a country and is chasing other members of socialist parties or whatever, you're also allowed to come. Oh, I saw some blinking back there. There we go, guys. Yes, awesome. Found a horseshoe. So, but just if you're kind of in a not as rich country and want to come and say, hey, I just want to come to get rich here, it's difficult. It's the same thing like in the USA with the green card and stuff. You just cannot like show up. Um, there has been initiatives, where the German government wanted to encourage, for example, engineers from India to come to Germany to work here because they say we have a lack of highly qualified engineers. We always need engineers. So there's exceptions, but typically for these lower education jobs, which might be filled up by people who are not speaking the language well and come from a different country. For them, it's a bit critical because they say we also have a bunch of Germans, so to speak, who fit this profile very well, and it would be cool if we can get them back into the working society. Right now, spoke about that lately. Germany's economy picked up again, and we're doing pretty well. So this discussion kind of vanished a bit from the public radar, so to speak. Um, Now you mainly hear positive news from the economy or and the business side. So yeah, at the moment it's not a big topic in Germany. It only becomes a big topic when the society is in dire straits a bit. When there's a lot of unemployment and the social system costs a lot. If people earn enough money, I really generally have the impression that people are willing to be show this solidarity, help others out. And I think most people in Germany inhaled this attitude and are happy the system is there because it can go really quickly. You could get fired, your company, goes bankrupt, you could get fired, and from one day to the other, you lose your job. So in Germany, in case you don't know, there is some kind of transition money. There's different ways social support works. Like if you never ever had a job and never invested a single cent into the German system, you will get the very basic Hartz-IV. Back in the days, that was called Sozialhilfe, social welfare. But yeah, because of certain reasons, it was changed, and the whole system was changed here in Germany about that. And yeah, you would get that very basic money. That would include people paying for a place to live for you. That would include people paying for your electricity, for your water bills, for your basic needs. And on top of that, you would get around 400 bucks a month to spend for whatever you need. That might sound much, but is not much. Believe me, if you only have 400 bucks a month, it can be really, really, really tight money-wise during a whole year. And so yeah, but that's that. And if you work for a while, if you actually held a job and then you lose your job, you will get paid 60% of your income, of your last income, for I think up to 2 years. And after that, if you're not able to find another job, you transition into Hartz-IV or Hartz-IV, the social welfare money I just explained. Oh, don't crash our Bentley. So yeah, there's different phases to it. The idea is that you kind of have a high living standard when you are in a job and working. If you lose it, you don't want to plummet, like all the way down. You might have down payments for cars and house and whatnot. And this transition phase is kind of, tries to ensure that you can keep up your life as good as possible at least, and have a chance not to lose everything while you're looking for a new job. And I think that is also a very good idea. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna wait it out real quick here and let this guys finish with the fields, and yeah, I'll be back. Huh, guys, I found another horseshoe up here. Sweet, 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 sweet. So yeah, interesting topic. I know it's different. It's handled differently in each and every country. In the United States, for example, one thing that stuck kind of to my head last time I was in New York about 10 years ago or so. I always remembered I saw a lot of people on the streets, homeless and so on, that actually were wearing college degree rings and things like that. Or you could, if you look closely, you saw this guy probably once had a pretty normal life, but he fell deep. And yeah, that is um, something that could not happen like that, directly in Germany. If you would lose your job, you would have some basic security. Horseshoe, hey, 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 we're doing good today. You would have some basic security and not lose everything. But yeah, different countries, different attitudes. Another big difference, for example, and I quickly want to address that because I saw it this morning when I was studying Spiegel Online a bit. There's a nice campaign going on in the United States or on Facebooks and wherever, with photos. It's kind of protesting against weapons laws. People want to have stricter weapons laws. It's a pretty heated discussions in the United States. You never can really tell because there's so much lobbyism involved that you really never, that you can never really tell what the people actually think or want. But this campaign kind of, tries to raise awareness by showing contrast between things that are allowed and not allowed in the United States. And it was pretty funny. Like most of the times, you got an assault rifle or something, or AR-15, and a kid holding that, or a young child holding that, and on the other hand, it holds something that is not allowed. So one thing that is not allowed in the United States, but AR-15s are, is the so-called Überraschungsei. It's a small little chocolate treat, and inside you have this another, like a little capsule, and in the capsule includes small little parts, Lego style or something, where you put them together and make these little figurines and little. They also sometimes come with little dolls and stuff like that. And yeah, these are not allowed in the United States. Um, as they say, it is dangerous. Kids could swallow it and choke, suffocate from the. Whoa, did we just move that? That was pretty weird. So, oh, horseshoe. Awesome. Yes, we're on a roll. So that is not allowed. Or they showed dodgeball with a softball. Not allowed in many American schools because injury risk was so high. Or what else did they show? Oh yeah, the fairy tale. In German, it's called Rotkäppchen. I think the English name of it is something like Red Riding Hood or Little Red Riding Hood. Um, I think. In this story, basically, grandma drinks a bottle of wine or something, and that is also not allowed to be taught in schools, drinking wine. Um, so yeah, or promoting alcohol. Although in this respective, it's totally, I don't know, wouldn't make sense, from a normal standpoint. From a European standpoint, it would not make sense because in Europe, wine in many countries is part of the tradition, and it's not, kind of. connected with alcoholism, where or abuse of alcohol. It's kind of seen as part of culture, as in some parts of Germany, for example, beer is also seen as part of culture, which I not necessarily completely approve, by the way. Just saying. So, alcohol is a dangerous drug, and there should be awareness about it, but you can always exaggerate, like, for example, this harmless fairy tale where grandma drinks a little bit of wine and it's not allowed in school because it promotes alcohol. I mean, that is a bit weird. So yeah, what do you think about that campaign, and what do you think about the weapon laws in general? You know, for a European German guy, sometimes if you've never been to the United States, it might be a bit hard to understand why that is so. But as I've been to the United States quite a lot and also, saw the countryside, was driving around a bit, saw the hugeness of the country, you can understand it well better. There's some people, I don't know, living up in the Oregon areas, some at the northwestern coast, there's mountain lions there, and you just live out in a farm, and if you don't had a gun there, your life would probably be in danger. There could be a grizzly bear jumping out on you from somewhere or whatever, and if you're not armed, you would not be able to protect you. So there is actual areas in the United States that are really, wild countryside. And in areas like that, or if you live in Louisiana, Cajun people living in the swamps there and whatnot, I mean, there's crocodiles, or not crocodile, alligators and stuff. So you better be armed if you're out in the swamp. So, of course, there has to be some ways to defend yourself. But does that necessarily mean you should be allowed to have AR-15s and all kinds of, crazy guns? I mean, a regular hunting rifle would probably do. And of course, a gun is a gun. If you have a gun and the other guy doesn't have one, you normally should be in a good spot if you're fighting with him. That's obvious. Here's our Bentley. But, like assault rifles and things like that, you can, or semi-automatic weapons, it's fully automatic, it's not allowed in most states, or it's not allowed in the United States so easy. But yeah, there's a concealed carriage permit, for example, that allows you to carry concealed weapons and things like that. I mean, you could really discuss about it. Oh, Bentley and BMW. Bentley is owned by BMW anyway, so it doesn't matter. So, you know what I mean? I mean, do you really need like these super hardcore crazy weapons to be accessible for anybody? Another argument is like, if bad guys come, they will come with high-powered rifles. So if you want to fight bandits trying to invade your home, you need some good weaponry. That's true. But I tell you, like, one well-educated guy with a good pistol can easily outgun like some crazy guys shooting in the air with their AR-15s, not knowing what they're doing. So effective use of weapons or guns is always a question of training, So the firepower is more like in the user than with the guy who yields or with the weapon itself. I mean, if you can't handle your gun, you probably screw up and not be able to defend. So it's more like I think it's more like a psychology thing. You think you are safe, you have your gun at home, and in case something happened, and you would be able to defend yourself. And there's often these accidents, some neighbor unintentionally enters a home and is mistaken with a robber and is shot to death by the people wanting to defend their house. Actually, things like that, you can really say never happen in Germany. Never. Because there is not so many guns around. Or, kid finds gun in, in the drawer or something, picks it up, shoots himself in the head. Not happening in Germany. You rarely see these, reports about that. If there is gun law violation, it's mostly And it's really strict. You barely can't have any, guns at home. And you can't even have AR-15 and stuff like that. No way. That would be considered like pretty crazy if you have one of these. Let's quickly look at the camping ground if you see another horseshoe. So AR-15s and things not happening. You can have handguns, you can have rifles. If you're a hunter, for example, or if you are in a club, shooting club, sports shooting club. But there's strict laws to it. There's limits, and if you want to have weapons, they have to be in a safe and locked up and cannot be outside. Nevertheless, some crazy massacres and stuff happened with guns. And when it happened here in Germany, for example, one guy went into school and started shooting about and stuff like that. Those horrible things. It was always like father was in a shooting club. That means he had easy access to guns. So yeah, I feel it is a good idea to have stricter gun laws and not give guns to anybody. The bad guys, of course, they will make sure to have guns. But yeah, well, look at the typical situation. If you have a home invasion robbery, what you gonna do? You know, you maybe you're asleep, you're fast asleep. Suddenly, 5, 6 guys, invade your home, take your kids as hostage. What do you wanna do with your gun? Nothing, You might pull it out and everybody gets shot because robbers thought you might want to scare them. So I'd say, the typical situation you would need a gun, you rarely would get a chance to actually use it. Because things happen fast if a robbery or something like that happens. And yeah, to react correctly, you never know. Or, often, I watched some videos, like store robberies and stuff in preparation to the video, trying to figure out some information how successful the defense strategy actually is. And lots of clerks have their gun below the counter, but when I saw these robberies, it was mostly like robber comes in, buys something, stands in front of the clerk, pulls the gun and point blank range, so you cannot reach down and what you gonna do? Try to grab your shotgun? If you do, you're gonna end up with a hole in your head. Quite sure. So, it doesn't help. You need to prevent poverty by laws like Hartz. That is why I also talked about it. That it kind of concludes my thought process for this whole thing. If you give people enough so they don't have to worry about basic needs, crime decreases. There will always be crime because greed is one of the basic traits of the human being. Greed, you always want to get more. You rarely satisfied with what you have. But a lot of these typical crimes, people going, don't have any food, robbing a store because they need money, because they spend all their money on drugs. At least you kind of can prevent that by doing this social welfare thing. So in the long run, it fights crimes, it gives people hope, and it also is some kind of symbol in our society today where, lots of individualism, lots of me, lots of pressure. If you're not rich, if you're not monetarily successful, you don't get that much prestige in society. And yeah, so it all boils down to the good old money, guys. Even weapon laws are related to that. You would see less crime if everybody had everything, right? Well, sadly, that is not possible, but at least you can try and try to support the poor. So I'm in favor of social welfare. Let me know what you think about that, especially maybe the dilemma we have with the whole system, if people are abusing it. If they really don't want to work and just using the system for easy living. What would be a nice solution? What could be done about people like that? Because if you just cut their payments, then they will probably cause a lot of trouble in society that will even have worse consequences than spending a few bucks on them. But if you don't create an encouragement for them to find work, or if they just don't want it, I think there is no solution. You should say, okay, kick you out of my country, but yeah, of course, that is also not a suitable solution. So yeah, the system has a weakness, and that is that it's open to abuse and that you can barely do anything against it. But maybe one of you guys knows something really cool that would fix this problem, and then we must suggest it to Angela Merkel and the other politicians in Europe and kind of force it upon us, or them. Okay guys, I hope you liked this episode. Thanks a lot for the great support last time, over 1000 likes. Please, let's keep that up. Really encourages me to do the farming simulator videos. I hope you like the topics. Keep on suggesting mods. Maybe this time try to suggest one that is more farming related, maybe a very big trailer, and we can try it out here on this field and see if it's useful, because one thing we found out about our silage production here is that we always had trouble with trailer space and we had to do so many runs. Alright? So let me know down in the comments. I will link the Bentley mod, of course. And I hope you enjoyed. See you next time, guys. Your political farmer, Doc.